Hi everyone. We're studying the book of Philippians, and the main theme of the book of Philippians is joy. And the word joy, as I've said before, is mentioned 16 times in the whole letter, and it's a 4-chapter letter, and it's quite a lot of times if you think about it. But what became very clear as we're studying the book is just as Jesus is our joy. So let me rephrase that again for you. What stands out in the book of Philippians is joy. And that joy is found in Jesus. See, every chapter goes into, almost looks at joy from a different angle. The first one is joy in suffering. The second one, joy in serving. The third one, joy in believing. And the fourth one is joy in giving. And in all of those, as soon as you remove Jesus from suffering, you lose your joy in it. Then it's just plain suffering. As soon as we remove Jesus from our serving, it just becomes a serving for selfish gains, or a serving to lull our consciences. And obviously, as soon as we take Jesus out of the joy in believing, then there's no joy in our faith. Then all these things that we do, going to church, studying our Bibles, praying, is really a joyless experience, and it turns into a legalistic practice as opposed to a live relationship with Jesus Christ himself. And now the last one in the book of Philippians is joy in giving. And I found it very interesting that Paul would open up this chapter by addressing a conflict in the church of Philippi between two women called Euodia and Syntyche. And in Philippians 4 verse 2 to 3 you read about that, and Paul says, I urge them to get along with each other, to come to an agreement with each other. And then just straight after that, Paul goes into that very, very famous few verses that we know so well as Christians, is that verses 4 to 7 that says, rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all, because the Lord is near. In every situation, by prayer and thanksgiving in your hearts, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And that word guard in your hearts and your mind in Christ Jesus is this image of a garrison of soldiers standing guard in front of your heart. So anything that comes in through your thoughts, in your mind, or in your heart must go through the garrison of Jesus Christ guarding that first. So how does this apply to when we are giving? I can tell you just from experience is that nothing numbs you from the joy of giving more than conflict with brothers or sisters in Christ. When you are in conflict, when you have anger and bitterness towards your fellow brothers and sisters, then you will not give with a heart of joy. Not anything, not even forgiveness. And that is why Paul is so serious when he says, rejoice in the Lord. Now focus on him. Don't focus on the pain and the bitterness and the anger. Turn your heart and your thoughts towards him. It doesn't mean that magically all conflict is going to be solved and disappear. It does mean, however, that you will have the perspective to handle it with humility and gentleness, because the Lord will be near. So Paul finally gets into thanking the Philippian church in verses 10 to 13 of the book of Philippians. And he says in these verses that it's Jesus that gave them the burden and the opportunity to send him a gift. And it's from the Philippians' hand that he receives this gift, that ultimately Paul had the perspective that he rejoices in the Lord because the Lord has laid it on the Philippian church's hearts to give the gift to him. And that is why Paul in the following verses can say he is content in every situation, because everything that he has, whether it is a lot or whether it is a little, comes from the hand of Jesus Christ first. And sometimes God provides through using people, like the Philippian congregation, to provide for Paul. And this is why he can do all things through Christ who gives him strength. Because Jesus, who brings him to a circumstance, to a situation, also provides for him in it, like he did for Paul while he was under house arrest in Rome through the Philippian church. So this is my urge to you, that as we strive to walk this road with Jesus and experience pure joy from our relationship with him, that you would also experience the joy in giving and receiving from the Lord, and then giving from the overflow of that. Until next time, goodbye.